nowadays, in the last few years, I have really been testing my mixes directly on my cell phones. Hey man, do you think having more expensive studio monitors is really gonna improve your mixes? What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from Wavy.wav, and this channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. Today, we're gonna be talking about the truth behind studio monitors, all right? Like,
which studio monitors do I trust most when mixing?
No, 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 never. Ooh, yes, yes.
for one, why do we even need studio monitors in the studio? How do we choose studio monitors? Does the price of the studio monitor reflect the quality and the quality of the work that we can produce on them? I really want to unpack all of that today. So first and foremost, let's just talk about the importance of studio monitors for audio engineers, okay? Studio monitors are kind of like the video screen for a videographer, kind of like the movie screen for Steven Spielberg, right? It is our lens that we hear the music through. The studio monitors are so important that they tell us an accurate picture of actually what we are seeing. Now, the quality and the pricing of the studio monitors can vary so much. The different shapes of studio monitors, the components of the studio monitors, the sizes of the studio monitors, all of that is so different. And so how does one go about choosing which one is gonna be best for you, all right? Now, let's just think about it, right? As an engineer, you want a studio monitor that's gonna be flat in frequency response. Now, what does that mean? That means that you don't want anything that's overhyped or something that is like colored and not telling you the true picture. You want a monitor that's going to give you out exactly what you put in. Some consumer speakers may have bass boosting or more treble or something to make it seem more hi-fi, but in the studio, that is not exactly what we want. Oftentimes, we're looking for a very flat, reference quality studio monitor. I mean, literally, the studio monitors are the only thing that we have that tells us what we're doing. It is our feedback. It is our point of reference. So choosing monitors is super crucial. Now, with studio monitors varying in price so widely from like $100 all the way up to $100,000 and some even more, it is commonly believed that the more that you spend on the studio monitors, the higher the quality that you're gonna get from them. Now, I'll just tell y'all right off the bat, that is completely and utterly false, all right?
Let me clear one thing up. Yes, higher price studio monitors often will use higher quality parts and have better engineering. What I'm talking about is the ability for you to simply just buy your way into better mixing by spending more on the monitor.
Completely and utterly false, all right? You do not have to equate the price of the studio monitor with the quality of work that you can do on those monitors. You may even know of a famous monitor known as the NS10. Now, Yamaha NS10 monitors became super famous in the studio because they had a crappy sound. Not a good sound, but a crappy sound. And it was said by engineers that if you could get a mix to sound good on those NS10s, then it would sound good anywhere, okay? Now, think about that, sound good anywhere. That's because your clients and the people that you're mixing the music for, the consumers, they don't have $100,000 speakers that they're just sitting in a perfectly treated room listening to these perfectly balanced monitors. They're listening to monitors to speakers in their car. They're listening to earbuds. They're listening to music on their cell phones. They're listening on their laptops. They're listening to music in the mall coming through the little overhead speakers. They're listening on little Bluetooth devices, right? So having some high quality $100,000 Aspergers doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be putting out the highest quality mixes that's going to translate in all those different environments. So I'll tell you right now, price does not matter. There's a few things that matter when it comes to choosing your studio monitors, and we'll get to that in just one second. Now that we know that expensive monitors aren't always the go-to for mixing in our studios, let's talk about a few of the reasons why. One of them is gonna be voicing, right? Voicing is something that we really need to consider when we are looking for the ideal studio monitor. Voicing just simply means how that monitor sounds. Some monitors are a little brighter, some have more mid-range, some have a little more boomier in the low end, some have like a rounder sound or a fatter sound or a tinnier sound or a boxier sound, right? The voicing of the monitors definitely depends on the materials and the design of that monitor, and all of them will change the way that monitor sounds. Another big factor is the environment that you're going to be listening to the monitors in. I can literally take one set of these studio monitors out of this room, place them in another room, or even for that fact, move them to a different area in this room, and they're going to sound different. So it's super important that you don't just get locked in on the price of the monitors, but also the voicing of the monitors is one thing, and the placement of the monitors is another factor that we have to look out for. How should you choose the monitors that you're gonna be mixing on? Well, for most of us, unless you like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or something, price is definitely gonna be a factor. So you wanna choose a monitor that's gonna be within your desired budget, but you need to make sure of a few other things, right? Consider firstly the room that you're gonna put the monitors in. Is that room acoustically treated? Is it a very large room? Is it gonna be a small room? Depending on the size and the acoustics of the room, that will have a great deal on how you choose your studio monitors. If you're in a small room, don't choose some gigantic speakers to put in that room. If you're in a really big room, don't choose some really tiny speakers. Well, maybe you can though, right? But it's also gonna depend. If you have a great acoustic treatment, great acoustic response in there, then maybe a higher end set of monitors will work great. Or maybe even the lower, cheaper quality monitors can work just as well. I've been in $1 million studios that have like Mackie studio monitors on the SSL. So the price of the monitor does not matter. When you're choosing your monitors, another thing to consider is make sure that you have a reference mix that you can listen to, right? Ideally, you want to listen to the monitors in the room that you're going to be using them in. So if you can, you know, get a dealer to send you some sets of monitors that you can try out in your room. Or if you try them out and you don't like them, send them things back, okay? But you want to listen on reference on music. You want to use reference music that you're familiar with. So whenever I'm in a new room or experimenting with a new set of studio monitors, I'm going to play some songs that I've been listening to for years. I'm going to play songs that I've heard in my car. I'm going to play songs that I've heard in other studios. I'm going to play songs that I've heard in my AirPods. And then I play it on those new monitors to see what type of flavor, what type of tonality, what type of response are these monitors giving me. That's going to be super important to always use a reference. Even if you're in an untreated room, using a reference song that you know very well will help to tell you a lot about how those monitors are reacting in the space that you're in. While you're listening to your reference, some things that you want to listen for is going to be the bass response, right? How much bass are those monitors putting out? Is it much more in proportion to what you're used to hearing on this song? Is the high end a little dull or a little bright compared to what you're used to hearing? Also, listen to that mid-range, right? And listen to how the different studio monitors are responding to the music that you already know, right? Another factor that's going to come into this, though, is your own personal preference and taste. All of us have different hearing. We all hear things a little different. So if you pick your favorite song, the song that you love to mix on the most, and you play it on the most expensive studio monitors ever, and you just don't like it, how it sounds, well then guess what? Those aren't the monitors for you. You need to find a monitor that pleases your style of listening so that you can better serve the music that you're gonna be working on, and you won't have to make a whole bunch of adjustments. So, well, like I know these monitors are a little high in the mid-range, so all my mixes are dipped out a little bit in the mid-range to compensate for that. Instead, you could either EQ those monitors, or you could find monitors that fit your style. So if you see behind me, I have all kinds of different monitors, from Genelecs, some KRKs, which are actually my very first studio monitors, and I love those monitors. The KRK Rockets, man, now those are not like super flat monitors. The detail is a little mushy for me, in my opinion, like they're super old, but I know those monitors and I use them sometimes because I do know them. I know what to expect when I listen to music out of those KRKs. So one of the main things that you need to consider when choosing your studio monitors is, do you know them? Do you know how they sound? Do you know how they are supposed to react to low end? Do you know how they're supposed to react to high frequencies? Do you know how they're supposed to react to mid-range, man? I recently made a post on Instagram talking about how this Sony boombox right here is actually one of my favorite studio monitors because it gives me the consumer grade referencing level that I need. Some other consumer reference monitors that you might use might be like a little Bluetooth speaker. I have a little JBL speaker that I love, a little JBL clip. I use that often to reference. Apple AirPods, that's another dope reference because so many people have those. So many people are listening to those. You should check your mixes on those. Also, laptop speakers, right? Those are great because a lot of people are there. And nowadays, in the last few years, I have really been testing my mixes directly on my cell phone. So I'll bounce down a mix and send that bounce version over to my phone and play it out through my phone speakers, and that will tell me so much about the music. Since a lot of people are going to hear that music coming through their phone because they're scrolling on IG and they're going to hear it there for the first time, I want to make sure that it sounds good there. I want to make sure that whenever the listener hears that song for the first time, that it sounds good no matter where they are. They might be in their car or they might be on their phone, like I said. So again, the most expensive monitor is not always the best monitor for you. You need to consider the voicing of that monitor. You need to also be able to consider the room and the environment that you're gonna be listening to that studio monitor in. If you can try it out in your own studio space, that's better. If you can listen to reference music. So if you go up to Guitar Center or whatever your local pro audio shop is, take some reference songs with you. And before you buy, you ask them, hey, can I test this song out? I want to listen to this song on these monitors to see how it sounds before I actually make my purchase. You will be so much happier once you buy in that manner, okay? Don't just go out and buy studio monitors based on the brand or based on you heard them in another studio and now you think that they're gonna work for you, or you've seen them on my video or something like that. The best way to get the best studio monitor for you, regardless of the price, is for you to test it out and hear it in your own environment. What do you think? How do you choose your reference monitors? Do you think that having a more expensive monitor means that you're gonna get a better mix? I'd love to know your opinion down in the comment. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyWayne.com. Be dope.